Hello, friends. Welcome to my channel once again. And once again, I am back with something interesting for all of you. Okay. So on the screen, you can see word, two words, advise, or advise. What is it? Okay. Now, again, in the WhatsApp chat, conversations, and emails, I have seen people using this. It's absolutely as per their whims and fancies. Absolutely as per their whims and fancies, not understanding the intricacies of each word. Okay. So what is advise with C? What is advise with S? Okay. So now see, just notice the pronunciation. Just notice the pronunciation. When I have to pronounce the word advice with C, the pronunciation will have S sound in it. So let me repeat it for you. Advice. Okay. S sound. Advice. S sound. But when I have to pronounce advice with S in it, the pronunciation will have Z sound in it. Will have Z sound in it. So what is that? Advise. Advise. Okay, so we have two words on the screen. The first one is advise. Second one is advise. You can pause the video and practice the pronunciation right away. So let's do it again. Advise. S. Okay. And second one is advise, Z with S. Okay, so remember, just to reinforce this once again, if you have seen your spelling, my friends, the pronunciation will have S sound in it. And if you have S in it, the pronunciation will have Z sound in it. So please remember this. Okay, you can pause the video and practice it right away. So advise or advise. Now, what is it? Are they same things or are they different things? So just stay with me till the end of the video and I will help you understand the correct usage of each of these words. Yeah? Okay. So let's get started. So now advise. When I say advise, the S sound, okay? Advise is a noun. Advise is a noun. Okay. Now, when I'm using advise, which is a noun, the meaning of this word is recommendation. The meaning of this word is recommendation. However, if I'm using advise with a Z sound in it, okay, I'm using the word advise with S in it and the pronunciation with Z sound in it, that word is a verb and a verb is nothing but action. Okay. So when you are into an action of advise, okay, that means you are recommending something. So this advise means to recommend. It means to recommend. Okay. So the prime difference between these two words is not just restricted to the pronunciation. The pronunciation is definitely a bit different, as we saw, but the meaning is also very much different. So advise with C means recommendation, and advise with Z means to recommend someone, to recommend something, to recommend a product, to recommend a service. Okay. Now, let's look at the examples. So I have a first example for you, okay, wherein I say, I advise you to listen to his advice. Okay, so in this one sentence, I have made use of both these words, which is acting as a noun also, and which is acting as a verb also. So verb is an action, right? We know that. So when I say I advise, which means I am enacting, I am into an action of advising. So I will use the word advise with S in it. Okay, because this is the verb. Okay, so I is the subject and advise is the verb. Now I advise you to listen to his advice, which means I recommend you, okay, I recommend you to listen to his recommendation. Okay, so here I will use the word advise with C. Now the easy strategy. I'll teach you an easy strategy. So in whenever you are confused, which one should you use? Always remember when you have to recommend, use it with S. Okay. When you have to recommend, so I recommend you, please watch this movie. Okay. It will help you pave the career path. Okay. So then I'll say, I advise you. So whenever you have to use, so just substitute the word advice with recommend or recommendation. So whenever you feel that recommend should come in the sentence, use the advice with S in it. And whenever recommendation should come in the sentence, use it with C. So I advise you, I recommend you means, use advice with S in it. And I advise you to listen to his recommendation. Recommendation means advice with C. So I hope you know what is the difference now. Advise with C is a noun, which means recommendation. So whenever you have to use the word recommendation, you can use the word advise instead. Okay. And whenever you have to use to recommend the verb recommend, okay, you use advise with S in it. That's it. Let's look at few examples. Rather, let's solve few sentences together. Okay, and understand the intricacies of both these words. Please give me some advice. So now, if I'm confused which one is correct in this particular situation, I will use the word recommendation and recommend. So I will try to substitute these words in this sentence and fix it for me. So please give me some recommendation. That's correct. I will not say, please give me some recommend. I will say, please give me some recommendation. So if I'm saying recommendation correctly fits in here, which means this is correct. Advise with C, which is a noun, is correct, and this is incorrect. Okay, so that's easy way to remember. Now, I advise you to be persistent in your work. So now which one should I use? I recommend you to be persistent in your work, or I recommendation you to be persistent in your work. I recommend you. Okay, so here advise with S is correct and this is incorrect. Okay, so we know this, right? Now advise with C means recommendation. I'm just putting it on the screen once again for you all so that you can easily solve these sentences. And advise with S means to recommend. Okay, so we'll use these two words, we'll substitute these two words instead and we'll find our answers. My lawyer gives great advice. Now my lawyer gives great recommendation. I'll say great recommendation, which means advice. Okay, and not advice. That's correct. That's incorrect. Okay. I needed some recommendation. I needed some advice, which means I needed some recommendation. Needed some recommendations. So now what is there? C in it and not S in it. Okay, so I needed some advice, which means VICE is correct. Now I needed some advice and he advised me. I needed some advice and he advised me. So which means he recommended me. He gave me, he recommended. So now when I say he recommended, which means S is correct, he is incorrect. So with this video, I really hope you all have understood what is the difference, what is the underlying difference between these two words, advice and with C and advice with S. And I really hope that you start using it correctly in your WhatsApp chats, in your emails, and even in your colloquial English, even in your spoken English, because the pronunciation differs. Advice is with C and advise with Z sound is with S. Okay. So with this video, I'll end it here. With this piece of information, I'll just end this video and see you soon in the next video. If you need some more videos on similar topics, on similar words, which confuses you in your daily English, you can please put it in the comment section. I would love to help you. Thank you so much. See you. Goodbye.